Is Pastor Brad Jurkovich from First Baptist in Bossier. Hey, Mr. Brad, how are you this morning?
Hey, guys, I'm doing well. Thanks for calling.
You know, everybody was, after we chatted with you yesterday morning, everybody commented, and I did, if you recall, during our conversation, how calm and collected and just together you seemed in the face of such a tragedy. How are you? How are the people at First Baptist Bossier doing today?
Well, I appreciate that, buddy. I mean, I tell you, it's really been amazing. I think our church family, obviously, I mean, they're just rallying in an unbelievable way. I think people have an incredible faith and trust in God. And, again, like I shared yesterday, just knowing that there was no loss of life, that you put things in perspective, that you're dealing with, yes, a very challenging situation with buildings and fire, et cetera, but at the end of the day, man, we're pulling together, trusting the Lord, and just amazing outpouring of support. I mean, when you're just constantly getting that's wind in your sails, you know, and it helps you take the next steps with a lot more confidence.
What can the community do, Dr. Brad? What do you need?
Well, I'll tell you right now, I mean, again, we just got to get through the next few days for sure. And what I mean by that is just that fire yesterday. I was talking with the fire chief of Bossier, Brad Zagone, and we were just talking about it. I mean, at the end of the day, it was a fire that was like in 5 different places, 5 buildings, and so it was just very challenging logistically, and the tenacity of it all, and to see these guys just battling it was amazing, and their courage. So what I'm saying is just making sure that campus is as secure as can be, that the fire is put out. They've been on, kind of on call all night. So my point with that is we're taking care of that. From a community standpoint, we've had churches, we've had individuals, we've had businesses offering support and obviously prayers and being there. So as far as resources or specifically things, we don't know all those needs yet. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have some children's ministry needs for supplies and all that, just as far as just transition, and doing ministry for a ton of families. We have a kids academy that's a Monday through Friday daycare experience for families, and that's going to be a lot of transition for these families. I mean, all that was gone, and so we're just going to have to help those families, take that next step. And we've had different churches and places offering help with that too. So there are some things like that people are helping us with.
Brad, what's the condition of your main church, your main sanctuary, and what are your plans for this Sunday?
Yeah, so we've been talking with the fire department, all that, A to Z on all that. As of this morning, not that I've been back to the campus yet this morning quite yet. I'll be up there shortly, of course, but the main worship center is fine. There's our kids, babies and kids area, tiny town, is all of that more recent part of the campus is fine. But the older part of the campus is basically, all of those damaged to one degree or another, if not completely destroyed. So, but yes, we're planning to have worship there Sunday morning. Obviously, we'll have to make some logistical adjustments. But as far as worship and so forth, we're planning to do that. We are having a special call gathering tomorrow night at the Civic Center in Bossier at 6 o'clock, just for about 45 minutes for prayer update. The mayor's going to be there, fire chief, et cetera, just to touch base with the church family, take a deep breath, pray, and again, just take some steps together.
Talking to Brad Jurkovich, the pastor at First Baptist Bossier. Pastor, the folks that bring their kids to your daycare, the people who work in your daycare, are you hopeful that you'll be able to find another location at your current complex to continue offering that service? You sound like you may be working with other churches to do that, but are you hopeful you can still do it on your campus?
Well, whatever we do in our camp, again, when you're dealing with half of your property that's been lost, it's hard to just absorb all that, and even in your current facilities, because we lost all of our space for our teenagers. We lost all of our space for our elementary age kids. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
So with that whole ministry, that's daily, that's Monday through Friday, and you've got employees. It's one of those things where, you know, even just from a transition standpoint, we're going to do the best we can over the next 4 to 6 weeks, or 90 days, whatever we can do. I just don't know how much our existing facility that is operational can absorb. So we're just being realistic about that. We'll do everything we can as a ministry to help those families in transition. I just don't know what all that looks like. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Earlier in the conversation, you had mentioned that I think you said 4 different fires or 4 fire locations. Yeah. What more can you tell us about that? And as the day went on yesterday, what more did you find out about the fire itself, the cause et al. From the Bossier Fire Department? Yeah.
Well, and what I'm saying is I don't mean that it started in 4 different places. I just mean that it affected, it grew so quickly. Mm-hmm. Here's what I know is that they got the call, they got there on property, and they saw, the flames already, I believe, in a couple different areas. So they're starting their investigation in earnest this morning. There's several FBI, ATF, all of it, is working together. It's really amazing. So, again, I don't want to speculate on anything particular. All what I know is, as you talk about as the day unfolded, it just spread so quickly. It got into the attic, and that, it's just an older part of your campus where it really spread quickly, and that's why it got into 4 or 5 locations very quickly. Again, which shows just amazing how the firefighters from Shreveport and Bossier kept it in that area, and even kept it from spreading to the parts that we can still use. It really was just an unbelievable challenge.
Mike Johnson posted something about a Bible that was in that area.
Yeah.
That had not a drop of water
or
any damage on it. Explain that story real quick.
Yeah, it was really cool. So the fire chief said, "Hey, Pastor Brad, I just want you to know that we were able to save the Bible." So when you went into the old sanctuary, which is called Faith Chapel, there's a large kind of a family Bible type that's there in that foyer, and that was not a lick of water or anything on it. So we were able to get that. We were also able to secure the podium that was in that building as well. A little bit of damage, but it was kind of a cool deal to be able to secure that as well. So, that's the thing as a church family and a community. You cherish those memories. You thank God for those memories. You're grateful for how the Lord used all those facilities, and then you just get with God and say, "Okay, Lord, what's next? How do we move forward? How do we trust you? How do we rebuild?" This church has a ton of vision for the future, and so it's been very encouraging to see people, remembering, but also putting their faith in the living God for the future.
Pastor Brad Jurkovich, thanks so much for your time.
You bet, guys. Really appreciate y'all. Thank you so much.
You bet.